Thanks for tuning in to another episode of True Abutment's InTRUview. I'm Jeff Kraft. On this episode, we come to you from Sherman Oaks, California, which is basically Los Angeles. We're going to chat with the owners of Prestige Dental Studio. We're going to find out how they got started over 20 years ago in the crazy industry of a dental lab. Come on, let's go. Gary, thank you so much for sitting down with me. I want to find out, now this isn't a big lab, but what you guys have going on here is extremely efficient. Avo, you started this 20 years ago. This is basically the anniversary, right? 2022?
Yeah, 2022, and actually Gary started all of this. I just tagged along.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
2002.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So 2002, so you started this. So how did you guys come together? How did you meet?
Well, we're family.
Okay.
I was my nephew.
Oh, God, okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah, that was a big contributor to us meeting,
Yeah.
of course. But started back in 2002. Did it for many, many years. Avo joined the team in about 5-6 years ago.
Okay.
And put his own twist on it, and we joined forces, and here we are.
There you go. So what was it about opening up a dental lab that excited you? How did you get into the industry?
Well, initially I was in the jewelry designing business. I was a jewelry designer. So I was introduced to the industry by a family member. It kind of seemed really nice to me, and it was very similar to what I was doing, working with my hands and a lot of small items. So that intrigued me, and that's how I got into the dental field, and I've been here since. And,
so do you still do jewelry on the side?
my family does, I don't.
Okay.
Yeah, I never turned back after that.
Yeah.
I never turned back.
So you came around 5 or 6 years ago. Did he talk you into it, or were you bugging him saying, hey, let me in, let me figure out, I want to be a part of this?
Yeah, about 10 years ago, the lab was moving from one location to this location over here. And I was just helping out with the move. I didn't think much of it. But I was already fresh out of high school. I was looking for a job, something to do. And what really intrigued me about the industry is when I was looking at all the equipment laying around, all the artists making this work. And I also had a passion for art already, so it kind of intrigued me, the blend of art and science. That's how I got interested, and I got started as an entry-level technician. And ever since then, just been developing my craft.
Let's talk about the relationships with the doctors. How do you continue to build those relationships?
We really look for doctors and dentists that share the same qualities that we do. We really pride ourselves in our customer service. We look to work with other clinicians that general friendly nature, because we're always dealing with these clients, and we like to think of them more as partners than clients, but we want to be able to have that communication, open communication, and work on problems together, because there's always going to be an issue. It's the dental lab industry. We all know that nothing is very smooth, but it's important to have a good relationship so that we could figure out these problems together.
Yeah, I mean, and figuring out those problems, I mean, education comes, is at the forefront of that. How do you guys continue to stay educated? Is it the CE that you always look for, or what is it?
Always have friends in the industry. I look for my friends' advice all the time in the industry. Kevin being one of them, great friend of ours. So always staying curious, doing some research, online, chatting with people. Just the curiosity will lead to more education.
You are an educator yourself here locally. Talk about that.
Yeah, that's correct. It's been a year now. I've been an adjunct instructor at Pasadena City College, the Dental Restorative Technology program. And my main focus over there is teaching CAD/CAM to up-and-coming technicians.
So what's it like? Is there an influx of technicians that you see now? What's the energy? What's the age group? What's the new wave look like?
There's definitely an all-around excitement in the digital technology field. It's only natural because technology drives our world nowadays. So, the students come in seeing a lot of the analog technology, and they're just waiting to see, when can we begin CAD/CAM and digital? So There's definitely a big interest in digital, and I think a lot of students come to Pasadena City College Restorative Dental Technology program because of that reason. We're really focused on digital technology, and we made a brand new classroom with a bunch of computers and milling machines, printers, so we got all the good stuff, and we're just giving back to our industry and trying to teach the new technicians the new technologies.
I asked people, what piece of advice would you offer? Is there anything that you would say?
From my experience, be ready to work hard. Obviously, that's going to be a key factor because it's not an easy industry. So you have to definitely be ready to put your time and effort into it and to grow with it.
Is there anything that an individual should not try to do instead of try not to do this because here's the pitfalls?
I mean, there's a lot you shouldn't do, but you're going to have to do a lot to know what you should do. There's so much opportunity and so many different materials and machinery and technology. So there's a lot of do's and don'ts, but some you kind of need to go through it to figure out what is your forte and what is working for you.
All right, so let's talk about True Abutment. How did this relationship begin? Was it with you or?
Yeah, you know, I got a random call one day from a good friend of ours, Tony, and he mentioned something about, you know, we're from an implant company, and we have custom titanium abutments. We have components such as tie bases. I said, okay, that sounds great. I'll give you guys a try and see how it goes. We tried it. We really liked the workflow. He really got me, the company in general got me into the whole workflow of it. So once we started doing a few cases, we noticed that, hey, this really works for our laboratory, and it's all about efficiency, and it really made sense for us to start using True Abutment components. It's very consistent, which is what we look for. We're all about consistency and efficiency, so it only makes sense to partner with True Abutment.
Yeah. You have a son that comes in here. I saw something recently.
Oh, yeah.
You got your son in here playing around. Does he seem interested?
He does. He seems like a technician to me in my eyes. We'll see what kind of a technician, but he does like to get technical. I love having him around. He's obviously my life, my everything. So, and our purpose is to serve our family too, much like I have with Gary, and Gary has done with actually my dad with his jewelry business. We're there for each other, and we're here to support each other. So hopefully I'll have one day the opportunity to serve him and for him to serve me back as well. Your wife is also a business owner here in Sherman Oaks? Yeah, locally actually, home business making cookies.
The question is, I don't see any cookies in here. I was showing up hoping to get some cookies.
Maybe next visit, Jeff. She's putting me to work. She's got me working the 3D printer, making custom cookie cutters. Lisa, if you're watching this, I promise you I'll get you those cookie cutters you asked for.
Yeah.
Banner.
Yeah, we got some abutment and a bun here. Yeah, let me get the bun out.
I'd like to present this to Dr. Fotobot. Let's get a little emotional here. He's been a great partner, clinician with us, and he's always there to communicate with us, and we appreciate his efforts. So we wanted to just show our appreciation.
Gary, Avo, thanks a lot for letting me come in here, hear your story, how the business got started 20 years ago. That is no small feat. Congratulations on that, especially with a great partner like this. Many more years to come, Avo.
Thanks, Jeff. We had a great time having you here. Come back for some cookies.
Done. I'm going to hold you to that. Thanks, Gary, Avo.
All right,
thanks a lot, you guys.
Care.
Well, that's going to do it. Another episode in the books. Join us next time. We are in Hollywood, right? I'm going to go to the Walk of Fame, see if I have a star on there. So, Mark, tell me, how did you get involved with the lab here?
So initially, I believe it was about 2 years ago, I was having, I used to work with a lab that was having some issues with digital dentistry. And that was something that I was, and still am, very involved in. We had a crown that they just could not get right, and I reached out to Prestige, and they actually had been reaching out to me around the same time, and I have this case that my previous lab was having a hard time with. Can you help me out? And it worked right away, very easy, and since then we've been working together.
So you come into that, this is not a common thing. You commonly do not have a dentist that works in a lab that comes in here, and the partnership that you have is strong. I don't see it as often as maybe you do.
Well, I'd like to have one other issue with my previous lab was they were not that local, and so I liked having someone nearby that I could come over and we could work together and evaluate cases together, just to improve communication, which creates a much better outcome.
What's your favorite part about being in this industry?
Right now, I would say the changing technology, being fairly modern, and using that digital aspect to create newer outcomes, newer ways to do things more efficiently and better.